Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. Welcome to the USDRA Showdown live stream. Tonight we are going to be showcasing the final two teams. We are waiting for them to join the lobby right now. In the meantime, I'm going to show you guys the track walkthrough and some of the rules. So here we go. Welcome to the USDRA Finals. Today, the top teams will battle it out for the championship title. Before we begin, let's go over the rules and race format to ensure a fair and competitive event. All pilots will be racing at the same time in a best-of-5 format. This means the first team to win 3 heats will be crowned the USDRA Showdown champion. Each heat is a test of skill, precision, and strategy, so every second counts. This is team racing. Each pilot's best time on the track is recorded and averaged into their team's score. The team's score determines the ranking in the race. Consistency and teamwork are just as important as speed. Moving on to the track walkthrough. Each pilot must enter the gates in their intended direction, indicated by the green outline on each gate. To start, all pilots must enter the 4 square gates, followed by a left-hand turn into the first slalom. After completing the first slalom, pilots will enter the square gates. There are 2 square gates the pilots must go through, followed by the circle gate tunnel. After completing the circle gate tunnel, they will enter into the second slalom. After completing the second slalom, pilots will enter the final circle gate, followed by a right-hand turn around the flag, and they will begin their second and third laps. Welcome to the USDRA Finals. Today, the top teams will battle it out for the championship title. Before we begin, all right, we're going up. And we're live. All right. Welcome to the USDRA Showdown live stream. These are our 2 hosts tonight, Adam and Ryan. I'll pass the mic off to them, let them introduce themselves. We're also going to give a quick bio on the teams competing tonight. They're both pilots, so they know what they're talking about.
Thanks a lot, Jack. My name is Adam, also known as fishandbomb.pmr. I've been a pilot for about 10 years now. I love to build my own drones. I love to fly them and crash them too. I do a little bit of racing. I do a little bit of freestyle. But it's just a fun hobby for me, and I really love FPV and what FPV Initiator is doing for schools and racers like you guys.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mako Reactra. I'm a drone racer here in Maine, and I'm both a pilot and I also manage an all-female drone racing team named Mach 1. And in 2022, I flew in the World Games representing the United States as the female drone racer. I raced 5-inch, 7-inch, and whoops as well. And I'm also a teacher, so I'm thrilled to be here and to see high schoolers and people of all ages flying and the future pilots.
Yeah, thank you guys. That was great. I think we have a little bit of a bio on each of the teams too. I'll let you guys handle that. We have How to Train Your Drone tonight and Code Win Red. They're both from Fresno, so it's a California race tonight.
All right, so I'll go over How to Train Your Drone. We've got two really great pilots on this team. They're coached by Coach Nathan, and he has J-Rick and also Benji on his squad. They are going up against Code Win Red tonight, but I think that they have a pretty good chance based upon their preliminary flights. What do you think there, Ryan?
I think Code Win Red is going to give them a run for their money because they've shown a lot of improvement and they're ready to challenge for the title. They're from Duncan Polytechnical High School, coached by Doug, and their pilots are Matthew, Alex, and Enrique.
Looks like they also have an additional pilot that's joining them tonight, John S., he's been on their roster, but he hasn't been able to participate. So it looks like they got another pilot tonight, so maybe that'll seal them the deal. All right, so for the time being, we have a couple minutes until we're going to get this heat started. We're going to wait for the pilots to ready up. In the meantime, I'm going to put you guys back to the stream starting soon screen. I just wanted to give a little brief intro. I'm going to communicate with the coaches and the players right now, get them all ready, and we'll see you guys back here in a couple of minutes.
Looking forward to it. All right, welcome back. We're doing some Friday night flights here. We've got a championship race going on between two great teams out in California. First up, we have How to Train Your Drone, led by Coach Nathan, and he's got two great pilots on the team, J-Rick and Benji. They're putting up some great times in the preliminary rounds. I'm loving what I'm seeing from them, but they've got some stiff competition from Codewind Red. Ryan, what do you think about Codewind Red?
Geez, these guys must be neighbors. Codewind Red. They're from Duncan Polytechnical High School. They're coached by Doug. They have been really showing some improvement. They have some low times, some in the 30s. So I think they're going to be challenging How to Train Your Drone for the title.
Yeah, it's going to be a great championship race. I'm really excited to watch them fly.
All right, here we are, guys. So you can now see all the players and the teams competing tonight. You can see we're in the grand final. Here we are, guys. So a little bit of feedback from the computer. Sorry about that. So we're in Heat 1. We have How to Train Your Drone with J-Rick and Benji, Codewind Red with Matthew S., Alex C., Enrique L., and John S. We are going to get started here in just about 45 seconds. We're going to go right at 3:15. And yeah, so we got Adam and Ryan, Mako, and Fission Bomb are their pilot handles. These guys have been racing for years. They're professionals. But we're gonna.
I'm eager to see these young guys fly because, as I said, I'm a teacher, and this is the future of the FPV scene. So I hope they're flying not only in the simulator but also in real life. And if they aren't, I hope they will be.
Yeah, I think that the program that we have set up for FPV Initiator has them set up perfectly for flying in real life. And the sim will just bring all those skills that they learned into that real life flying. So they won't crash nearly as much as if they tried it, right away.
All right, so it looks like we got all the pilots ready. I'm going to go ahead and start this lobby here. So it should just take a minute. All right, I'm going to transition into our free cam. That way you guys can see everybody. Pilots get a 2-minute warm up at the beginning of each lap. So you'll see here. And we just need to position ourselves, flying around like so.
And this first heat could really set the tone.
Oh yeah, it definitely can. So after I position myself, you'll see all the pilots here. Perfect. I've got to fly around like a whoop myself till I get the perfect camera angle. Sorry, guys. And then after this, we'll be good. There we go.
Let's talk about the track. This track is pretty amazing for a simulator.
Yeah, this track I actually designed myself, funny enough. And I designed it to be challenging, but also easy. Since these pilots aren't super experienced, this is one of their first ever drone races. We wanted it to be competitive, but also a little bit, on the easier side. So that way everybody can have fun and compete at the same time. You'll see some of these pilots are completing the 3 laps in 30 seconds, which is kind of nuts. So you'll see everybody warming up here. We got about another minute here until it's ready.
And as I watched, to me, it looks like perhaps the circle gate tunnel might be the toughest part of the track. You have to really maintain that throttle and not, go up or down, or you're going to hit one of those gates.
Yeah, it's definitely tricky. That tunnel is going to be the challenge of tonight. It will. It definitely gets me every time I race. Every time I fly this track, I have at least one mess up in that circle tunnel. And yeah, you're not wrong
And
there.
then if they make a mistake, they got to go back and go through the correct gate, right?
Yeah, yes, this is just like real life drone
Yeah.
racing. So if you miss a gate, you're going to have to go back through that gate in the intended direction. And if you crash out, you're going to respawn right in front of that gate that you crashed out on.
The respawn is a pretty cool feature that the sim has. In real life, you'd be crashed out in the corner and not be getting back up.
Yeah,
Or you'd
you're
be
turtle moding, right? Yeah.
Right?
or walking really far to go pick up your quad
Yeah.
instead of just pressing the button.
Yeah, that's one of the benefits of the Sims. You can just get up and keep going. All right, so it looks like we are 2 minutes into our warm up here. I am going to start this first round of racing, and we will see what this brings. So, looks like the pilots have had some good warm up laps. It looks like everybody's completing the track. So, we're going to go ahead and get this started. So you'll see everybody has been teleported to the start. If you see them floating up, that is not what they're actually doing. That is just a glitch on my screen. And here we go. We're off. So we have Alex out in front, followed by Benji. They are completing the first slalom, going through the circle tunnel now. We have Matthew in first. Alex C crashed out. Matthew is going to complete his first lap right now. Looks like Alex C is still in second place, followed by Benji in third, followed by Jarek in fourth.
When they go through those circle gates, it's almost like they're going upside down. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, some of these guys have been practicing for quite a while, and it seems like it's paying off. So we are still waiting for them to finish their 3 laps here. Looks like we have Matthew out in first. He finished with a 35-second lap time.
Not bad. That's a good start.
It's a great start.
Looks like we have Jarek with a 44-second lap time and Benji with a 45-second lap time. We have Alex C with a 49-second lap time.
And I think Matthew knows it. He is taking it easy.
And we are just waiting on the 2 last pilots to finish. All right. We have the third pilot that has just finished his 3 laps. Enrique with 1 minute and 13 seconds. Hey, that's faster than I can do.
Great job, boys.
Excellent work out of all the pilots there to, get it done and get to the finish line.
And we are just waiting on John to finish his final lap here. And if he can't,
And he's in the circle gates right now.
it looks like, yeah, he's in the circle gates. He's trying his best to finish out here. We're going to allow him to finish out his lap as long as there's no issues. If there are any issues on his side, I'll have his coach let me know and we can end the race. But it looks like he's working his way through the gates here, and the other pilots are going to use this time for practice.
Get as many reps as you can in.
Exactly.
And that's a nice thing about the sim. You have unlimited battery, too.
You can just
No
keep
charging
flying.
required. Yep.
They won't catch on fire either.
Exactly, right? You don't have to worry about running the battery into the ground. Right. And it looks like John is still having some trouble over there. If John is unable to complete the track within the next 2 minutes, I'm going to unfortunately have to finish the race, which is going to result in a DNF. It's not the end of the world. You still have plenty of tries, and the rest of your team's scores still will calculate towards your victory. Looks like he's working his way to the end here. He's coming through the circle gate now. And then it should just be this last right around the flag and finishing up.
Keeping it smooth. That's the way to go.
Yep, smooth is fast. It almost looks like there's a fog in the middle in the track. Kind of makes it a little bit more spooky.
Let's
Do
see
you
if
see
we
that,
can.
Jack?
Yeah, that's on purpose. So we have
Yeah.
Matthew, Enrique, Jarek. Let's go to John. Let's see him flying around. Yeah, John is working his way through the circle tunnel right now. He's having some issues. Got Benji, everybody else practicing. Jarek.
But he is persevere. He is not giving up.
He is trying his hardest.
Those circle gates, they seem tough. I'm going to put this in a real live drone race. I want to see what this is like because it seems like they curve. They're not only a tunnel, but it seems like there's a slight curve to them, which would add another element of difficulty.
Ryan, do you have any tips for a racer if they're having trouble with a gate?
I will practice certain elements and fly that one part of the track over and over and over again instead of flying the entire track one lap at a time, focusing on certain elements.
All right, guys, I'm going to unfortunately have to wrap up this heat here. We're going to go ahead and finish it up. And we are going to transition to our score calculation screen. Just give us a minute to calculate the times and make sure everything gets awarded properly. So we will be back in just a minute here. 1 second, guys. All right, we'll be back in just a minute.
So that was a pretty great first heat. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that was impressive. I mean, to come out with the first heat, they probably have a little bit of nerves being in a big race. So kudos to them. I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, championship race. They brought it on the first race. That's probably not going to be the best time because they're kind of getting the feel for it and everything. We've got How to Train Your Drone with a 52-second average, which I think that's pretty impressive right off the bat. And then we have Code Win Red also at 58 seconds, not that far off.
No, it's really any team's win.
Yeah, so we have more racing to go, and I think that we're going to see those times improve even more as the race goes on.
And even though Code Wind Red did not come out on top in that heat, we can't discount the fact that Matthew had the fastest time at just over 35 seconds. So he's averaging, a little under 13 seconds a lap, which is pretty awesome.
That's a really impressive flight. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. I want to see who's going to break that time. So 35 seconds, guys.
Yeah, we've seen in the preliminary heats, they've been able to eclipse that number by quite a bit too. So we'll see who comes in first place in the next one. See if Matthew can continue, or maybe one of the other team members can beat him.
Yeah, that's a good point. They had, I think it was a 27-second run in semifinals.
All right, guys. So we are watching the teams warm up right now. They're getting ready for their second heat. As you can see, we're in the free cam mode. We're going to give them about another minute and a half to keep warming up before you get this heat underway. In the first round of racing, we had How to Train Your Drone coming first and Code Wind Red coming in second. But remember, that's only the first heat. There's still a lot of racing to be done. So we're just going to watch these teams start up here. And if you're in the chat, I got a couple questions for you guys. Have you ever flown an FPV drone before? Have you ever flown a drone in general? If you're in the chat, let us know what you've flown. If you fly FPV, where you're at, when you fly, let us know. We're curious. We always like to know who's watching.
Do you race? Do you freestyle? A little of both.
Props in or props out.
Yeah. Some people love to start doing those chases, like chasing drift cars, or they're using them in sports like mountain bikes. So maybe some people are getting into that too.
Yeah, I've seen it used at the Super Bowl, even for filming at halftime or other sporting events. Even WWE is doing it now.
Wow.
Someone might have a career coming up.
Yeah, and I believe the last time I was out in Fresno training their coaches, I was talking to Jarek, and he was telling me that he wants to actually one day chase drift cars with his drone. So I'm sure all this training is going to help him in that career eventually.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of racing pilots move on to do movies and sports and really all those big productions. So it's definitely a way to get in the door.
Yeah, practicing in the sim is the best way to start. Don't be chasing cars in real life. We want to be as safe as possible, but also enjoy ourselves too.
All right. It looks like these pilots have had enough time to get practiced up. Let's go ahead and start this heat. And all right, let's do it. So they got a countdown to the start of the race. Let's go to the player cams and So we are watching Matthew S. in first here. You'll see a little bit of lagging on the player cams. That's why we're mostly using the free cam this event. Keep in mind, this is our first time ever utilizing the FPV SkyDive multiplayer system, so there are going to be a couple of bugs, but for the most part, everything is sound and smooth. Pilots are enjoying themselves, and they are racing. So right now it looks like we have Matthew S. out in first, followed by Jarek, followed by Benji, and Alex C. Let's see if we can swap over to the player cams. Here we go. We got Jarek. He is flying through this track right now. He just made a bank around the first flag, and he finished. He was so quick, he beat me to it. On how to
Yes, and
train your
he's actually gotten a time below the 35 seconds. He has 34.7.
Look at that.
Getting a little faster as we
Improved
go.
already. Yeah.
And J-Rick really turned it on because I think his last heat, he was in the 40s, wasn't he?
Yeah, he definitely turned the heat on. That's for sure. Shaved a couple of seconds off.
He
All right.
had an answer for Code Win Red.
So we had Jarek with the fastest lap time so far of 34 seconds, and then Benji with a 41-second lap time. And those guys are on the same team, so they are crushing it right now. Jarek's putting a little show on for us in acro. Transition.
That's
over.
what I was wondering. Are they flying angle mode for racing and then doing the freestyle and acro?
I wonder. I mean, so I know some of these pilots, they definitely like to fly a race in acro. So
Okay, nice.
he might be doing that. So we got those top two scores, and we're just rating on Enrique and John to finish their laps here.
Looks like Enrique just came across the finish with 1 minute and 43 seconds.
Nice job. We're still waiting on John. John seems to be their newest pilot. Like I said at the beginning of this, he hasn't been participating in any of the other races. So this might be his first time ever on the 6. So while he finishes up his lap here, I'm going to go ahead and start to calculate these lap times.
That's a real go big or go home moment. I mean, he's starting his first race in a championship final.
Yeah, that's pretty
impressive.
Good for you.
Guts, I mean, to go out there and do that.
Yeah. Takes some guts. Right now, he's in the Circle Gates tunnel, and Enrique's kind of flying around there too.
So it looks like John is stuck on the Circle Gate tunnel, and he keeps getting reset. So we'll let him try and figure that out for the next couple of minutes. If he doesn't have any luck, we'll go ahead and finish the race off just so we can keep the schedule underway.
So when I hit a circle gate, one of the things that I like to do is look through the gate to the other side. And that helps me guide myself through. It's kind of like a mind trick, but it does help when you're having a struggle with that.
Yeah, you're not wrong with that. If you can, it's almost like threading the needle. You got to look where you want to go.
Look to where you want to be rather than where you are trying to avoid.
Exactly.
In real life flying, I use one of those, I don't know if it's considered a cat tunnel or like a toddler tunnel that you can fly your whoop through. And that makes me think of the Circle Gates. It's so tight that you really have to be able to maintain that throttle.
Yeah, those prop wash and stuff like that you have to worry about with the cat tunnel.
Yeah, those cat tunnels are popular. All right, guys. So it looks like we are going to go ahead and wait for John to finish this lap here. If this is his final lap, we can go ahead and wrap this race up. Oh, stumbling through the circle gate. These circle gates are getting everybody. It seems like it's the diameter. All right. Finish that heat up. And so John finished with a 3 minute, almost 4 minutes there. So 3 minute and 59-second lap. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and calculate these times. So you're going to see the calculating score screen again for just a minute. And then we will be back with Adam and Ryan, Mako and Fission, and they'll give a recap of the race and update you guys on the average times. As you can see in the simulator, there's a little bug. It's not calculating correctly. So that's why we're doing this. So we'll be right back in just a minute, guys.
All right, so that was another great heat. Heat two. Got another big win from How to Train Your Drone. J-Rick pulling in the hot time for that one. And total time for their team was 44 seconds. So they beat their last one by a whole 10 seconds. That's a huge improvement.
Yeah, they're really making a statement. So I think Code Win Red is going to have to really keep it clean. Hope for some errors from How to Train Your Drone. Their time last heat was 72 seconds. And that was a bit higher than their first heat. But I think I see the third heat is going to be the magic number. That one's going to be their best. I know it.
Yeah, calm down the nerves. Make sure that you're flying the way that you know how, the best that you can. And the numbers are going to come because it's just a matter of making your way through the track. It's not about high speed. It's about precision.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're flying Whoops tonight in the sim, but the sim is also great for flying in, outdoor spaces in 5-inch, 3-inch even. Those are two of my favorite sizes to fly. What sizes do you fly, Ryan?
I fly Whoops 5-inch, but I'm really getting into 7-inch racing right now. It's spec racing, so it sort of levels the playing field a bit because everyone's flying the same parts pretty much for the drone. And they're slowed down a bit. So it is a much tighter race and you can really get competitive with it. You get right up against the other drone and their props are so large that it's a lot of fun. And the track is lit up all in LEDs. So 7-inch racing is really been fun. Is 7-inch racing on the simulator? Do you know?
I don't think that they have a
It
7-inch.
is. I just heard it is.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
So maybe I'll have to check that out. And if you haven't tried 7-inch racing, give it a shot. Bigger is better, right?
Bigger is a lot of fun, that's for sure. Because you have bigger batteries, bigger props, bigger motors, all of that. But Whoops are fun too. Because Whoops, you can fly around indoors. You're not going to do any damage like you would with a 7-inch indoors.
Yeah, Whoops are so much fun. I live in Maine, so we have a cold winter, not like you Californians. However, I was born in California, so I'm rooting for you. But here in Maine, we have tons of snow right now, so there's no way I'm racing outside. So I set up tracks in my house. It's kind of the way I pass my time in the winter.
Yeah, but in the summertime, setting up outdoors is a lot of fun too. You can make your own track. You can get some different obstacles, or even use objects as obstacles, like a tree or a soccer goal or a baseball diamond. One of my favorite places to fly is through a dugout of a baseball field. It's a little dangerous because if you hit that metal, you're going down.
I don't know. I think since I started flying, I look at the world a little bit differently. Every time I see a gap, I'm like, ooh, I could hit that with my whoop. Or if I see something tall, I might think, oh, I'm going to dive that. So ever since I started flying, I don't know if that's true of you, Adam, I kind of look at things a little differently.
Yeah, for sure. When I'm driving around in the car, I'm looking for things like, oh, I could fly that, or I could. All right, welcome back. Friday night flights are going well. We've gotten 2 heats done. We apologize about that little technical glitch, but this is the first time we're broadcasting championship race through the simulator. But so far, it's going well. Everybody is flying well and having a good time out there in California.
What time is it out there right now? They're 3 hours ahead of me. 3 o'clock. So do they fly from school or do they fly from their house? How does this work? So they're flying from their schools. That is great. So it must be an after-school program. Perhaps they're sitting next to each other at computers.
It has to be rewarding as a coach too to feel like your team is going out there and competing in the championship, and you've coached them up all the way to this point, and you're right there on the verge of winning the inaugural USDRA race. That's got to be an awesome feeling.
For sure. And they began with 24 teams, and it got whittled down to 8, I believe, then 4, and now we're at our top 2. So they had to fight their way to get here, and they did.
Yeah, they certainly earned it. Flying all that time, they've gotten their skills to the point where they are the top of the top in the entire USDRA, and that's a pretty cool accolade to say.
Yeah, one day maybe they'll be flying for the Drone Racing League or in a huge multi-GP race, or who knows? In another country.
Might represent the US like you did. That'd be pretty amazing.
Yeah, the World Games is actually coming up again this summer. So they'll be competing in drone racing again. There'll be a female and a male pilot competing against pilots from around the world. And there'll be a bunch of other events there too, like paragliding, sumo wrestling, parkour. It's sort of like the B-grade Olympics. I don't know if I'd consider it B-grade, but just like the pre-Olympics. So if your sport does well, you might one day be in the Olympics. So maybe we'll see drone racing make it one day.
Yeah, and if not the Olympics, maybe they'll create their own Olympic type, organization, and we'll see drone racing there, and we'll see pilots like the ones we're seeing tonight on Codewind Red and How to Train Your Drone, and they can say, "Oh, I got my start in the USDRA race that I won back in February of 2025."
Right.
So we got the teams joining for heat number 3, and this is actually quite an exciting one. If How to Train Your Drone takes this race, they are crowned the champions of the USDRA Showdown. So I can only imagine how nervous they are. I know when I race, just between my friends, I'm like shaking and my heart is racing. Yep. I couldn't imagine what they're going through right now.
Yeah, I am curious if some of their thumbs are moving a bit as they're flying.
A little bit of jitters.
Yeah.
The nerves are real, because when you have that controller in your hand, it's just you and the drone, and you got to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we got How to Train Your Drone. All their pilots are in. We're just waiting for Codewind Red right now. There I have 3 more pilots that just need to get into the lobby. Keep in mind, these guys are students, so they're doing this after school in their classroom, probably in a esports lounge or a computer room. So there are a little bit of challenges getting teams organized and ready to go. So thank you for bearing with us while they transition into the 3rd heat.
Yeah, I've got my start button ready to go over here when we're ready for a race.
This is going to be a big one. All right.
Looks like Codewind Red is starting to fill the room.
Yeah, we're just waiting on one more pilot, and we should be good to go here in a second, guys. We are waiting on Enrique from Codewind Red to join. Once he gets in here, we'll go ahead and get this warm-up underway for heat number 3. This could be the deciding factor of who wins. Jarek and Benji, they've been training a lot, so this could pay off big for them.
They say it's for all the marbles, but this one's for all the props.
Yeah. And just I wanted to make a quick little update just so you guys know where it says 1 and 1 here. This is unfortunately a bug inside the simulator. It should be showing 2, 0. So that's why we do the standings page separately, just to make sure everything is all in line and correct. So just ignore those numbers for the time being.
So this could come down to errors, corrections, and bobbles. Like perhaps, Code When Red isn't out of this.
Maybe they've listened to some of our advice about hitting the gates, and maybe they're taking that to heart, and they're going to take those little tips and improve on their time, just with a little bit of encouragement.
I'm rooting for him.
I just emailed the coach, gave him a little scheduling email just to let him know we're waiting on Enrique, so he should be joining here soon. Once he joins, we'll go ahead and get this underway. If you guys are still watching in the live stream chat, I asked before if you guys have ever flown an FPV drone. My question now is, have you ever flown in the simulator, and do you use the simulator to train before you go and fly in real life? I know a lot of pilots like to use the sim as training tool, and that's what we use it for too in the FPV Initiator program.
That's a great point, because flying in real life, we often will fly tracks that are in the simulator. So flying it first there is a great way to do really well in race day, because you don't have to spend those precious packs learning the track when you can do it in a simulator. So when you get to the field, you can focus on just clean lines and really being fast.
Yeah, I second that. I know when I was in my heyday of racing, I would spend hours on the simulator flying the same track over and over and over again until my thumbs hurt. And yeah, it definitely pays off.
Yeah, for a freestyle pilot like myself, it's helpful when you're trying to learn a trick that you don't know how to do. Like if you're trying to do a Matty flip, that could be very dangerous and very expensive too when you get it wrong. So if you do it in the simulator, you have unlimited tries to try that trick, and then when you go to do it in real life, you do it the right way and not crash your drone.
Yeah.
Right. So I think Enrique might be having some technical difficulties here. Our student computers just started. Aha! Of course. Don't you love technology? I just got an email from his coach saying that the student's computer decided to restart during the middle of the race and update itself.
Updates.
I am going to go ahead and talk with the coach here real quick and see how long that'll take. We want to make sure that he can get in here and participate. So they're going to try and switch him to another computer in the meantime. So
great idea. Great idea.
They should have this sorted out here shortly.
Well, speaking of using the simulator too much, I find that if I'm on too long, you'll start to get sort of the gimbal print or the stick print in your hand.
Yeah, sometimes I'll get cramps in my thumbs from playing it too long. So I try to keep my simulator usage down to a couple hours at a time, if that. That way I'm keeping it fresh, and when I go back into there, I have something else that I want to work on too. So if I'm racing, if I'm freestyling, you get to pick in the simulator what you want to do. And you can even make your own track in the simulator now. So if there's something that you want to work on and just do repetitively, you can do that. With this track that they're flying tonight, that's something that Jack designed, and it's been a challenge so far, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, 100%. I want to fly in real life, or at least give it a try in the simulator.
Yeah, I want to see if I can beat some of the times that are being put up there tonight. I don't know if I'll be able to. They're pretty quick.
Yeah, certainly. Like some of those guys going through that tunnel, like I said, they're going through sort of sideways to get the cleanest, best line they can get. Even if it's just dropping them 1/10 of a second, they're going for it.
And that's something that you'll learn as you begin to fly more and more, that there are certain lines that you can take through a track that'll improve your time. they may not be a direct line, but it's actually the best way to reduce your time because you're doing it more efficiently. I know that one of your signature moves is the spiral through vertical gate.
Oh yeah, I love the corkscrew. Yeah. So we call it the corkscrew. You just go. I set up 6 gate corkscrew one time just because I wanted to do as many as I could in a row.
Yeah, so if you follow Mako Reactra on Instagram, you can watch her blitz through any type of course, and she's really amazing. Pretty
Thanks, Adam.
If you watch my Instagram, I'm just flying over shipwrecks and things.
That's pretty sick. Shipwrecks. You gotta send me that video. Flying over water is sketchy.
And I do it more often than I should, probably.
Have you ever lost a drone over water?
I have.
In water? Me too.
That's why I build so many of them.
You got the backups on backups.
Backups upon backups.
That's always sad. But, it's a part of flying. Something's going to go wrong at some point. It could be your flying. It could be the drone. There's so many different variables, unfortunately. And that's what makes racing pretty tough. It's not all about just the sticks. It's a mental game too. You need to get a good night's sleep. You need to eat well and drink well and make sure that your head is clear, because if you lose focus, that could be the difference between winning and losing with a crash.
Right. It's almost like you're an athlete. You have to prepare your whole self mentally and physically, even though you're only standing there, sitting there.
Just moving your thumbs.
Right, with your thumbs. But there is hand-eye coordination involved in it, especially because you're wearing the goggles right there on your head.
I'm curious as if any of these pilots play video games, because I think if you play video games, perhaps you have a little bit of an advantage with the coordination and using a controller.
Yeah, I didn't really consider myself much of a gamer, but I like to consider myself a pilot. Even though I'm flying a drone, it's more like I'm inside the drone, and I feel more like a pilot than somebody who's staring at it in a line of sight situation.
So I just got word that Code Wind Red is going to go ahead and start racing with those 3 pilots. So we are unfortunately not going to have Enrique for this race, which is fine. Pilots and coaches had confirmed that they're ready to race. We're in the warm-up period here now as we're watching Benji soar through the track. These are our player cams, and we have Jarek behind him. And so we're just going to let these pilots warm up for a little bit before we get this third and potentially final heat underway. Again, How to Train Your Drone, if they win this, they are the USDRA Showdown champions. Code Wind Red, though, they are only a couple seconds behind them. So if they win this heat here, we may be on course for a 4th and 5th race. All right. So, Adam, how are you looking? You're able to see everything? You're good? Ryan, you're good?
I'm in the sim right now, but I think I'm flying.
Yeah, bird's eye view would be nice.
All right, so we are live. We are going to get ready for this third heat now. Pilots have been practicing. We are just getting our player cams all situated here, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So this could be the final heat. So we're counting down now. 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so we have Jarek out in first, followed by Matthew. Matthew has taken the lead into the circle gates, followed by Jarek. Jarek is now in the lead, blazing through the track. He has completed his first lap already. We have
Looks like Benji's behind him. Matthew just went by Benji, though. Go, Matthew. You got to catch.
Yeah, Matthew took the second place there, followed by Benji in third. We have Jarek still out in first. Yeah. Looks like he's on his third lap right now. This might be it, guys. This might be the end of the race here. If Jarek comes into the finish with 34 seconds, basically the same time he got last race.
Very consistent.
Very impressive.
Yeah.
Matthew right behind him, though, with a 40-second finish. Let's see what the rest of the team can do. We have Benji on How to Train Your Drone with 46 seconds. That's it for How to Train Your Drone. We're going to go ahead and start writing these times down and begin calculating.
Looks like Alex is coming around to potentially a finish as well.
Yep, Alex is in the last slalom here, going for the circle gate, and there it is. He finished with 1 minute and 10 seconds.
Nice job, Alex. And we have John making his way around too. He'll be the final pilot for Code Win Red to finish.
All right, there we go. That is the final heat, guys. We're going to go ahead and calculate these times. I think we know who won, though. I believe How to Train Your Drone. Bear with us just for a brief moment while we calculate these scores and make sure, and we'll be back for the final awarding ceremony.
Awesome. All right, so with that final heat, we have to talk about some of the pilots that did a great job tonight. We got to talk about Matthew from Code Win Red, really anchoring his team tonight. Bringing in the hot lap for his squad, and that's pretty awesome. Even if they don't win tonight after everything is totaled up, you have to think about the hunger that he's going to have now to come in first place at every race from here on out, because he's really putting up great numbers. And on the other side, they're doing a great job on How to Train Your Drone too. Great pilots with consistent times.
Yeah, they were a pretty good duo, Rick and Benji. I'm curious as to if they'll increase their team next year and maybe find some additional pilots to join them, because I think they have a lot of talent and they can really teach some new pilots some tricks here and get them flying.
Yeah, now they're the veterans for their school, who can show the other players and pilots the ropes of what it's like to be in a championship race. So even if they don't win tonight, they have the that feeling of being there at the pinnacle. And think about all the other schools that they had to go through and beat to get to this point.
True.
Congratulations to How to Train Your Drone, Coach Nathan, Rick and Benji, USDRA champions.
Yeah. And they're from Edison High School, so their high school will be proud.
Yeah, so congrats to them. What a great accolade for their school that they can go around to all their friends tomorrow and be like, "What'd you do on Friday night?" Well, I won a drone race. Uh, that's pretty amazing to say that. I'm a champ.
Yep. And hopefully they'll be back next year to, defend their title.
Or they're training the next crew of pilots to take on the next crew from the other schools. And who
Mhm.
knows, maybe we'll see another team make it here to the championship next year, because we have 24 teams so far, but we might have 50 next year.
That is
The
true.
competition will be even tougher.
Mhm.
All right. Thanks for joining us on the USDRA Championship. I appreciate everybody in the chat and who watched along with us. It was a lot of fun.
Yes, thank you. I enjoyed being here and watching you all fly to the future of drone racing.